Hello everyone, today we're learning Bobekama Daf Tzadik Ches. Let's go. 4 lines down. Omar Rabba. Rabba says, Azirik matbea shel chaveroi layam agodol. Someone who throws his friend's coin to the big ocean. Potter, he doesn't need to pay. My timer, what's the reason? Omar, homonach kamoch. Here, it's in front of you, look, it's over there deep in the waves. Iboy shakle, if you want, take it. Said the Gemara, but that's talking about Betzlulim, where it's see-through, so the water see-through and you could see the coin. The kochozile there, you could see it. Aval akurin, when the water is not see-through, the loy kochozile there, you can't see where the coin is, loy, because it's lost. That's talking about how Rashi explains when the guy, let's say Reuven's holding a coin in his hand and Shimon comes and pushes his hand and the coin goes flying in the water, but he never picked it up, the coin actually in his hand. Aval shakle biyode, if he picked up the coin and threw it in the ocean, migzal gazle, he stole it, ashova boy mevad, you need to do a proper ashova to go and give it back, and that's not called enough of ashova, say here, look, it's over there in the ocean. Mosiv Rova asked the kasha, it's talking about Ma'aser Sheni that you have to take to Yerushalayim and eat in Yerushalayim. And the Torah says that there's a way of, if you don't want to take the actual fruit, you can be poida the fruit on money and take the money to Yerushalayim and buy over there fruit or cows or whatever you want to do it and eat it in Yerushalayim. So it says over there, you can't be mechalel Ma'aser Sheni on money that's not in his reshus. Ketad, what's the case? Oyulumois Bicastro, he had money in a place called Castro where it's far away, where you can't really get there and it's dangerous. Oy Bara Melech, it's a different place. Oshenof al Kisole Yomagodoil, or that his wallet fell into the big ocean and he wants to be Mechalel, the Ma'aser Sheni onto that wallet. Ein Mechalelim, you're not allowed to do that. So we could see that it's not called in his Rishus when it's in the Yam HaGodol. So why do we say that you could say Arei Shel Chol Lefonecho? Omar Rabba, Shiny, Linyan Maisa, de Be'inyan Motzu B'yotcho. By Ma'aser Sheni, there's a special thing that needs to be Motzu in your hand. The Rachmon Omar, that said in the Pasuk, V'tzartar Kesef B'yotcho V'leka, you take the money in your hand and you go to Yerushalayim, and in such a case where it's in the big ocean, it's not in your hand. So therefore, in Ma'aser Sheni, it's not good enough. But in Dina of Groma, you could say Arei Shel Chol Lefonecho, because he was never gathered and it was just a Groma, he pushed it in, he pushed his hand and the coin fell in the water, and he could actually get it with a ship or something and go get the money. That's good enough. And he could say Arei Shel Chol Lefonecho. V'omar Rabba says another din. Hashaf matbea shel chaveroi. Someone takes a coin of his friend and he takes off the shape of the coin. So let's say the shape of let's say it says David on one side, and like we learned earlier on, and he makes it that you can't read anymore the David. So it's just a piece of silver. It doesn't have a value anymore of a coin. Potter, you don't have to pay. My timer, Deloy Ovad Veloy Midi. You have here the same piece of silver. It didn't change in the weight or anything. It's just squashed. V'hanimili, and that's talking about the machia that he squashed it bekurnas of a tarshe, that he smashed a hammer on it and he took off the shape. Avol shayfe b'shufina, if he rubbed it with something that takes off a bit of the silver, chisure chasre, he made it missing, and therefore you need to pay because now he took off a bit of silver, a bit of gold. So the only reason you're potter when no silver is missing, you just squashed it with a hammer. Mosiv Rava asked the kasha, steht in Braisa, Yiko Aleino, he hit him on his eye, Visimo, and he made it blind, Al Oznoi V'chirshoi, on his ear, and he made him deaf. Eved Yotzeben B'chirus, so if it was his slave, his Goysha slave, his Eved Nochri, he goes out L'chirus, like we know. Keneged Einoi, if it was just next to his eye, Veinu Roy, and he's blind. Keneged Oznoi, next to his ear, Veinu Shemei, and he can't hear. And Eved Yotzeben L'chirus. Eved doesn't go L'chirus. So what's the cash over here? Rashi explains. Let's see Rashi. Even though that he didn't make him lose anything, he did a maisa, he hit him on his eye. it's not called a groma, and Yechayev, and the Eved Yoytze Lecherus. So also over here, since he hit with a hammer on the coin, it's not called a groma, and you should have to pay as a mazik. So the Gemara, Rabba letamei, Rabba is lefi his shitta. The Omar Rabba, somewhere else, Chirshoy le'oviv, someone who made his father deaf, nerag, he gets killed. Because we know that you only get killed if you cause damage to your father that there's a chabura in it. And so why is he nerag? If someone gets deaf, obviously inside there's a chabura. The tipta the domo noflole be'odnei, at least a drop of blood fell inside his ear. Maybe you don't see it in the external, but inside he caused damage, he caused the chabura. So therefore, that's a teretz over here. You know why you ever do to the cheres? Because the blood comes out, and therefore it's a maisa with a hezek. Masha'in kain, when you damage the coin is still the same coin. V'omar Rabba, says Rabba, tzorim, someone who cuts or damages Ozdin Perosto Shechaver, the ear of the cow of his friend, Potter. My timer, why is that? Porake de kaima. The cow is good to go, it doesn't make any difference to the cow. Deloy ovad, veloy midi. It's not considered called ezek. And all the now it's possible gabe mizbeach. Now I can't bring it to Baal Mum, I can't bring it up to mizbeach. No. The kulu shvarim lav legabe mizbeach kaima. A normal cow, you can't say that it's designated to be a korban. It's meant for work in the field, and a cow for the work in the field, it doesn't make a difference if it has a damage on his ear. Mosiv Rava asked the kasha, oisa melocha b'meichatos. So what is meichatos? Do the paraduma. The paraduma you take and you burn it, and then you mix the offal with water, and then you sprinkle this water on someone, and you make him tar. Today we don't have that, obviously, and we all tumah mates, and that's why we don't have a good touch for tumah b'tara, because we never really tar. But anyway, and with mechatos, if you do a melacha with it, it becomes possible. What type of a melacha? Let's say you take it. Let's say it's, there's 100 milliliters of water, and you weigh it on a scale that's and you weigh against it 100 milliliters. That's called doing a melacha, doing something with it, and it makes it possible. So oisim melacha mechatos or paras chatos, a cow of a chatos paraduma potu medinei odom. You don't have to pay in Bezdin v'chayev b'dinei shamayim, but in God's eyes you chayev. So we medayek melacha deloy minka ezeka. Melacha, that's why you potu medinei odom, because you can't see anything. It looks the same water. There's no difference. Aval tzorim, but someone who damaged the ear of the cow, the minka ezeka that the hezek is nika, or chinami the mechayev b'dinei odom. Even b'dinei odom you'll be chayev. And how did the Rabbi say you potu b'dinei odom? So the Gemara Amri uadin dafilu tzorim potu. Really, tzorim is also potu, even though it's minka ezeka. Why did it say over there dafka melacha? It's coming to tell you that even a melacha that you can't see no difference, chayev b'dinei shamayim, you'll be chayev b'dinei shamayim, even though there's no difference. But kol shekain, if you're tzorim, you'll be chayev b'dinei shamayim. But the chiddush is even when you don't see a difference, b'dinei shamayim you're chayev. V'omar Rabba, so all these dinim of Rabba Rashi explains are all saying that groma is potter ben izokim. V'omar Rabba, soref shtori shechaveru. Reuven has a document, a star, saying that Shimon owes him $1 million, and comes Levi and burns the star. Now Reuven can't claim from Shimon, so the din is potter. He doesn't have to pay. The Omalei Naira Kaloiminoch. What did they burn? They burnt a piece of paper. How much is this piece of paper worth? 10 pence. I'll pay 10 pence, but I'm not going to pay the $1 million. Matkif lo Rami Bar Choma. Rami Bar Choma asked the question, Echidomi, what are we talking about in this case? Tzadik Chesom and Beis. Idi Kasad, Idi Aldi, my Abbe Bishtora. If we have Adim who know that it said that Shimon owes him $1 million, Lichte v'lo Shtor Ma'alya, let's write a new star now. We have Adim. V'ide lekesad, if there's no Adim who know about this, Anon Minoy Hadina, on how do we know what's said in the star? So l'chora, anyway you can't be mechayev this guy, even if it's not groma, even if you say groma's chayev, you can't sue Levi for burning Reuven's star, because we don't know what's said in the star. We don't have no Adim. And if we have Adim, let's just write a new star. What's the case? It's talking about what Levi says, whatever Reuven says is written in the star, I agree. I'm not saying there's nothing written in the star, it was just a piece of paper. No, it was a star, and it said that he owes him $1 million. But we're still Pata Levi, and we can't write a new star because we don't have Eidim, but we're still Pata Levi because he's only a Groma ben Ezokim. Omar Rav Dimi bar Chanina, Rav Dimi the son of Chanina says, Hoder Rabba, this din of Rabba about burning someone's contract, this loan contract, Machloikis Rab Shimon Rabbanon, it's a Machloikis of Rab Shimon Rabbanon. Le Rab Shimon do Omar Dova Goyim Limomon Kimomon Domi. Rab Shimon who holds, we're going to see later where he holds it, that something that causes money is like money. Mechayev, you'll have to pay. Since this document, you could get $1 million with it, it's called Dova Goyim Limomon, and therefore if you burn this document, you have to pay back the $1 million or however much that value is. And Rabbanon the Armory, Rabbanon who argue and say Dovar Goyim Limomon Lavke Momon Domi, that something that causes money is not considered like money. Lo Mechayev, it's like Rabba, they don't have to pay. So Lechor, it's Toila on the Machlokes Tanoi. Matki Flor of Huna Breder of Yeshua. Rav Huna doesn't like this comparison. He says, Eimon de Shamasle Rab Shimon Dovar Goyim Limomon Kimomon Domi. When do we know that Rab Shimon says that Dovar Goyim Limomon is like money, the Dovar Shei Korim Momon? It's something where the actual thing has a value of money, but like we're going to see. But over here, the shtar doesn't really have any value of money. The only value is what it says in it, and that's not really worth money. Kedirabba, like Rabba Doma Rabba, Gozal Chometz Lifnei Pesach. Someone stole Chometz before Pesach. He stole a very expensive bottle of whiskey. Uba Acher V'Sofer B'Moyed. And then someone came on Chol HaMoed and he saw a bottle of whiskey by his friend, and it's also Ano, and it's Baliroi Balimotza, and he burnt it. Potter. Why? Shakol Mitzuvim Olav Levari. When you see Chometz, everyone's mechuyev to burn it. Doesn't matter if it's yours or not yours. La'achar Pesach. What happens if he did it after Pesach? He burnt it. Machloikes Rab Shimon Rabbanon. That's good for the Machloikes if Dovar Goyim Limomon Kimomon Domi. Le Rab Shimon Domer Dovar Goyim Limomon Kimomon Domi Chayev. Because this Ganev, after Pesach, could take this bottle of whiskey and give it back to the one who stole it from, and he could say Reishel Cholefonecho. So it's Dovar Goyim Limomon, because if it's not here, this bottle of whiskey, even though it's also Bano, he'll have to pay £650 for a new bottle of whiskey. But so really this thing causes money. So therefore, if you're Shimon, you'll be chayev. L'Rabbanon Darmi Dovar Goyim Limomon Lav Kimomon Domi, something that causes money doesn't have an actual value. Potter. Then you will be potter. So there, B'Dovar She'eni Karim Momo in Miamrinan. So there, the bottle of whiskey was worth actually money before Pesach, has actual value. Now it's already also Ba'ano, so we have the Machloikes Rab Shimon Rabbanon. But in our case, where the shtar has never really a value of $1 million, no one holds that's called Dovar Goyim Limomon that you need to pay the $1 million. Omar Meimar. So the Gemara doesn't really answer this kasha. The Gemara leaves it over there. Omar Meimar. Man de doin dina de garmi. Magbi beid mishtar me'alia. Someone who holds that you are dan dina de garmi, a groma, in such a case, where you burn someone's shtar, you'll have to pay the full value of the shtar. Like Rabba, you still have to pay the 10 pence, the value of the paper, but you don't have to pay the $1 million written inside. Other uvda, there was a story, the kafir Rafrom Rav Ashi, and Rafrom forced Rav Ashi, the Agbi Bey Kishur Latalma, and he made him pay like a shur latalma. That means when a person is wanted to do a sculpt, he wants to curve into a wood, a nice design, so he's going to choose the nicest piece of wood to do it. It should look nice because he's investing a lot of time in it. He wants it to look nice. So that means kishur, like a piece of wood latalma that you take to make a sculpt. So also over here, it's like a marshal. We're saying also over here, he made them pay the full price, the full amount that it says in the contract. You say sculpture. Today we have with us a very intellectual English-speaking person, so we could upgrade our vocabulary. It says in the Mishnah, someone stole chometz and a bottle of whiskey, and Pesach went over, and now it's also bano. He could tell the nignav, here's your bottle of whiskey, take your McLaren 21 and enjoy it. Says the Gemara, man Tana, who is a Tana who holds Orim be'Yisur no Areish l'chol lefanecha, that you could say Areish l'chol lefanecha n'Yisur no. Omer Rav Chisda Rabbi Yaakovi. It's Rabbi Yaakov. The Tanya, Shor she'imis, a cow that killed, and now the din is that Beis Din are going to paskin, that he's going to get killed. Actually, nigmar dinoi, if before Beis Din paskin that we kill him, mochroi, if the owner sold him, mocher, it's a good sale. Higdisho, he made the kodesh, mugdash, he becomes kodesh. Shochta, he slaughtered it. Psorei mutter, you're allowed to eat the meat. Ichzir shoym lebalav, if it was, this cow was by a shoyma, and he now gives it back to the owner, it's considered muchza. It's a good returning. It's areish l'chol lefanecha, because we didn't paskin yet that we should kill it. Mishenigmar dinoi, if after Beis Din paskin that this cow should get killed, mochra, if he sold it, ain't a mochra, because he's selling something that's also barno. Hikdisho ain't a mukdash, because he makdish something that's also barno, it doesn't work. Shochto, if he slaughtered it, psora also, you're not allowed to eat the meat. Ichzir shoyme lebailov, if the shoyme gave it back to the original owner, ain't a muchza, it's not called giving it back. Rabbi Yaakov argues, and he says, af mishenigmar dinoi, even after you Beis Din paskin that we should kill this animal, ichzir shoym lebalov, if the shoyma gave it back to the owner, muchza, it's considered a good returning. So says Rav Chisda, this is a machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbanon. The Rabbi Yaakov savar orim be'Yisur areish l'chol lefanecha. You could say by something that's also by areish l'chol lefanecha, and our Mishnah that says that you could say about chomet shov ala Pesach areish l'chol lefanecha is Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbanan savri ein orim be'Yisur areish l'chol lefanecha. You can't say of something that's also by areish l'chol lefanecha because it has no value, and the Rabbanan will argue in our Mishnah. Omalei Rabba argues over Chisda. Look, the Kula Alma, everyone, Bein Rabbi Yaakov, Bein Rabbanon, Amrina, B'Yisur Areish l'chol lefanecha, they all agree that you could say Areish l'chol lefanecha by Yisur Ano, like Chomet Shov ala Pesach. The Imkain, if so that the Rabbanon argue and say you can't say Areish l'chol lefanecha by Chomet Shov ala Pesach, Nifloik b'Chomet v'Pesach, Rabbanon should be cholik in our Mishnah. So everyone holds you could say that. So what's the difference? Ela Omar Rabba. Says Rabbi, what's the argument over here between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbanon? It's a whole different argument, nothing to do with if you say Areish l'chol lefanecha by Isano. And what's the shaila? Can you Beis Din paskin that this ox gets killed if the ox is non-Beis Din? Rabbanon savri ein gormim dina shel befonov. You can't paskin that this ox should be killed if it's non-Beis Din. Therefore, the Omalei, the Bailim will tell the Shoima, if you'd bring it back to me before Gemar Din, go hide it in the valley. And now, Beis Din wasn't able to pass the night should get killed because it needs to be in Beis Din. Ashta Mosarti, now that he took it to Beis Din and he didn't hide it away from Beis Din, Mosarti, he gave it over. It's too late, I can't do anything, it's in Beis Din already, I can't get away and I'll have to pay, and they'll kill this ox and I'm going to lose my ox. So you can't say Areish l'chol lefanecha after Beis Din paskin, you made me lose. But Rabbi Yaakov Sovar, Beis Din could paskin that the shor gets killed even if the shor is not in Beis Din. The Omalei, so the Shoyma tells the owner, my Avdi, what did I cause that I didn't take it away from Beis Din? Soif, my Avdile, what did I cause? Soif, at the end of the day, Aver Gomerle Dina, they would paskin, Shaloi Bifonovi, even if you'd hide it in the valley. And therefore, you didn't cause me, I didn't cause any damage, I never gave it back to you earlier. But if you're a bonon, you know why you can't say Areish l'chol lefanecha? Because you caused me damage by giving it to Beis Din. You should give it to me back before Gemar Din, and then I'd hide it, and then I'd save my ox. So, l'chor, we have here Machlokes. Rav Chisda holds that the Mishnah of the din of Areish l'chol lefanecha by Chomet is only Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbanon are cholik, and then Rava, let me just see if it was Rava. Rabba says no. Rabbi says, no, everyone agrees that by chometz you could say Areish Lecholefonecho, but by the case over there that there's a machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbanan, there's a whole different machlokes. Do we paskin about the ox getting killed if the ox is not in Beis Din? Ashkecher Rav Chisda Rabba bar Shmuel. Rav Chisda met Rabba bar Shmuel. Omar le Tonis miti be'Yisur Noah. Did you learn any brayso or anything about this din of Yisur Noah? Can you say Areish Lecholefonecho or not? He wanted to find a raya that Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbanan are choilek about this. Omar le in. He said yes. Tanina, we learned the brayso. Ve'eshiv esagzeila asher goza. Ve'eshiv esagzeila. A person should return. It says in the Torah, a person should return what he stole. Matamudem asher goza. Why did it repeat itself and says what he stole? Obviously, he should if it says Ve'eshiv esagzeila, obviously the one he stole. Why did it say asher gozal? It's extra. So we learn. You should give it back like the thing he stole. Mikan Omru, from here we learn Gozal matbea v'nifsal, someone who stole a coin and now it's not used anymore, the queen died and it's not anymore valuable. Peres ve'erkivu, fruit and it got rotten. Yain ve'echmitz, wine and it became vinegar. Truma v'nitmes, truma and it became tomeh. Chometz v'avala pesach. Be'ema, chometz and pesach went over, and that's the raya we're going to bring from here. Be'ema v'nev daba avera, now it's osel mizbeach. V'shor ad shelo nigmar dinoi, and a shor before we paskened, now he gets killed. Oimeloi, he could say to the owner, Areish Lecholefonecho, please come take it. Man shomas leidoma ad shelo nigmar dinoi in. Who do we know? Who is the Tana who says that you could only say Areish Lecholefonecho before Beis Din paskened, but mishenig mardinoi, but after Beis Din paskened loy? Who is that? Rabbanon. It's Rabbanon Viktoni, and it says over there in the Brisa, chometz v'avala pesach. It says clearly the chometz v'avala pesach. He could say Areish Lecholefonecho, oimer lo Areish Lecholefonecho. So we could see clearly the Rabbanon agree that he could say Areish Lecholefonecho by chometz v'avala pesach. So it's a raya against Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda was looking for raya for him, but really he found a raya against him. Amalei, so Rav Chisda told him, if you find the Bnei Yeshiva and they ask you about this, don't tell them anything, because he didn't want to be wrong. And it's a very interesting Gemara, because it doesn't really make sense. The emes, if there's a brisa like that, you should be happy to go, he should be running back to this medrash and saying, I had a mistake. But I don't really know. Said the Gemara, Peres ve'erkivu, we learned in this price of fruit that got rotten. Oimer Areish Lecholefonecho. You could say Areish Lecholefonecho, but nan we learned in our Mishnah, Peres ve'erkivu mishalem k'shas akzela. You have to pay like the value is when he stole it. So what's pshat over here? You could say Areish Lecholefonecho. The chayr to stira. Amar Papa kan she'erkivu kolu and kan she'erkivu miktzothen. There's a difference. If they all got rotten, then you have to pay the value when you stole it. Over here in the Brisa where it says you could say Areish Lecholefonecho, it's talking about when only partly got rotten, and therefore you could say Areish Lecholefonecho. We're going to leave it over here. Tomorrow we're going to start from the Mishnah. It's a new sugya. Shkoyach, everyone should have a very blessed week.